Owen County Public Schools. I am the CFO, COO, treasurer, construction supervisor, whatever else they tell me I need to do. That's what my responsibilities are. We're approximately 18,450 students, so we're basically the mid-range school district here. As you can see, our facilities, we're the fastest growing district in the state of Kentucky. We average 450, 500 students a year. We have over 120 languages spoken in our district from 90 different countries. We have one of the largest international resettlement centers in the United States in Bowling Green, Kentucky, which nobody ever puts that two and two together, right? They figure us out for building Corvettes and being really close to Nashville, Louisville, but a huge refugee population is not it. So what do we do with these kids? We have a 97% graduation rate. Transition readiness is right at 96%. Sorry, I didn't put it on this slide because it was embargoed until yesterday. We work with international groups. Leader and me, Sean Covey's organization, we have 10 lighthouse schools, and we just had a school that became Legacy and another one going for Legacy. We built the first net zero school in the United States at Richardsville Elementary School in 2008. We have the second in Jennings Creek in 2018. We have 8 net zero ready facilities, and one will go vertical next week when we start the ICF. We couldn't do this without a huge team, right? My board of education and superintendent support us, and that's our architects, engineers that sit on our team. We do construction management for all of our builds, and we have not had a build since I've been there, and this is my 19th year, come in over budget. So we're investing in green to get better use of our buildings. And why? We're amongst the third lowest funded school district as far as revenue per pupil in the state of Kentucky. So for me to be competitive with salaries for my staff, I have to figure out other ways. And this started way before me. 2003, we hired an energy manager. That's where it started out. But we're getting these results. Our standard buildings, in 2017, 38.2 EUI. That's energy intensity, right? It's measurement. Owen County, which is a small county, was at 33. We're 16th. I don't like losing, so I'm very competitive. So we got with our team, and we did a guaranteed energy savings project I'll talk about in a little bit to boost us. In addition, continue to build other buildings. So you can see what happened in 5 years. We went 38.2 to 24.4, and we're pretty much holding flat there with the one exception year of COVID, and everybody did really well in energy when your buildings are shut down, right? You know, you don't drive by and windows are open when buildings are shut down. So, and we've maintained that. So here's our evolution. We were the first Energy Star at three middle schools in 2003. We built the first ICF elementary school and Alverton Elementary School in 2006. 2009, Richardsville became the first net zero energy. Then we'll skip forward 2017, we entered a $30+ million guaranteed energy savings project where we went back and retrofitted many of our older buildings with geothermal systems, changed out our mechanical systems to really help us improve energy efficiency. We changed out all the T8, T12 lighting systems to LED bulbs, which had a drastic reduction, helped drive that change from being number 16 to being number 1. Our elementary schools that we've built, we're on our third one in the last 4 years. They're performing at 15 EUI, 15 to 15.5 EUI, which is, I had a gentleman tell me last year that there was a misprint in my bio because our energy EUIs are at 26. He said there's no way. But when I walked him through the systems that our design team, architectures, and our MEP guys have designed, there's a way to get there, even in our older buildings. So on your left-hand side, you'll see some of the stuff that we do, and that's the easier stuff to do to get that EUI down. Photovoltaic, PV for us, doesn't make a huge amount of sense. TVA for us doesn't incentivize us to put solar on our buildings. We have done it because in 2008, when we did Richardsville, the cost of solar was $2.8 million on that building. We got a federal grant of $1.4 million to offset it, so it became realistic. And we got escalated incentive from TVA to do it because nobody else had done it. So that helped pay it off. Dark campuses, we shut down every one of our campuses at 11:30 every night until 4:30 the next morning, completely dark. That freaked my board members out. You've lost your mind. I said, y'all already signed the contract and y'all didn't read it, so sorry. But what we do have is motion detection lights. So we had a conversation with our police department. Lights on inside of a building after 11:30, somebody's in that building, it shouldn't be in that building, stop and investigate it. Whereas if your building, campus is lit up like a 4th of July, and it's 2 a.m. in the morning, they don't know the difference, right? So that was our avenue of getting that passed. We're to the point where I've brought in a thermographer on our brand new buildings to tell us where the weak points in that brand new building is. Or when we're doing a massive renovation, as we are right now, a 220,000 square foot high school, are windows sealed good? Where our roof meets our brick? Are we good, or are we having a lot of leakage of air? So what are we looking forward to invest in the future? Hempwood flooring. It's a Kentucky proud product. It has a fire rating of a brick. 50-year life. We're doing terrazzo in all the hallways. So we're investing on the front end on things like this. So my maintenance crew or my custodians, who we don't have enough of, nobody seems to, they're not stripping and waxing VCT floors. We're not replacing LVT every 6 to 10 years. It's not looking like really bad in 6 years, and our parents aren't happy. Let's face it, we're all have first world issues within our districts and have parents who have unrealistic expectations because everybody's kid is going to Division I to play some sport, or they're going to Harvard because they're God's gift to being an intellectual. So it's just what we face. So that's what they expect us to design buildings for. We're moving towards non-operable windows. Within the state of Kentucky, we can only open our windows 4 inches. What does every teacher do? They're hot or cold, so they open the window to regulate. What does that do to our air quality? What does that do to our HVAC systems? They run constantly. So guess what? We're taking them away. We're just going to do non-operable windows. They don't have an option. But that helps us control the environment more. And it saves me a lot of money on new windows as well. Battery backup for generators. So Rich Pond Elementary we built with a safe room. It's 5 square foot per every individual that can have capacity for that building. So it's our gymnasium. We operate that backup generator off of diesel. My maintenance guys have to go in, start that diesel engine every month, do maintenance on it, so on and so forth. The next building we're doing, I challenged our MEP provider, let's do battery backup on that storage system. And then what my bigger push to them is, I want a larger scale system run off PV, whereby I'm reducing that demand load of my building during the day. Demand is my biggest charge on energy. So running your building from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., that period, you're paying some type of peak demand load. So how can we reduce that? Geothermal, my strategy on it, if it doesn't have 15 or less years payback on a 20-year bond, I'm not doing it. That's just too many risks in there for me that I don't like to take. And right now, through the Inflation Reduction Act, you can get upwards of a 30% payback from the feds on going geothermal. I've got 42 miles of geothermal lines under one high school. Not actually under the high school, that'd be hard to get to if they ever failed, right? But we've been doing geothermal in the district for 40 years. We've got a field that's 40 years old. So it has worked in our district. Even with all the sinkholes we have in Kentucky, if you don't know, we're a very karst environment. New elementary school, I've done 6 sinkhole remediations. I've done 14 sinkhole remediations in the last 8 months. Anywhere between 6-foot depth and 60-foot depth. So it's eerie a little bit when you're placing a 95,000 square foot building on top of our environment. So we went through the Guaranteed Energy Savings Project. We were consuming about $3 million a year in utility expense, and that's what our mechanical rooms looked like. Not as bad as I thought they would, because apparently they took a couple good pictures that storage wasn't being used at this point in time. The Christmas tree's not in there with them. So, and we were able to turn it around. The guarantee was $800,000 a year in savings. We're saving about $1.3 million in our investment. So it's not only paying back the bond, it's giving me some operating capital to pay teachers more. I'll put that money back in the classroom. So 2017 versus today, I like to give a couple of the older schools, because new schools, you should be energy efficient, right? But taking a school from 1939, that's still in operation 84 years later, is at 40.5 EUI, and getting it to 28.4, that takes some skill. And I give them all my credit. I'm an accountant. I'm not designing these processes. I'm certainly not doing the mechanical systems, so you don't want me doing that. It's a team effort in doing this project. 1969, a high school. Y'all know like I do, high schools are 24/7, 365 with things going on. We took Warren East High School from 56 to 30. South Warren High School, which is the large, when it was built in 2008, largest ICF complex in the United States. It's roughly 7 acres under roof, 334,000 square foot, middle school, high school shared facility. So district-wide, we went from 41 to 24.4. A few pictures of our buildings. So I heard a lot today of how buildings can become, with all the safety features, institutionalized, prison-like. I hate that because our kids are going to that, and no kid wants to go to that place. So we try to be very intentional in all aspects of our buildings. This is Richardsville Elementary School. This dates back to 2008. First net zero. You see, it's very compact. There's a reason behind that. Getting to net zero, with the architect who designed this really wanted to make sure we got to net zero along with the engineers, right? So that compact design made a lot of sense. Since then, we've gone out with more wing style that has been advantageous to us, but still, it's a beautiful complex. It's got 400 kW of solar on top of it. This is Jennings Creek. So what I love about ICF and our doing construction management, the back portion of this building on the right-hand side was solar. I did 2 building permits. The left-hand side, which is all the instructional wing, this is a 750 student, 80,000 square foot building, along with that middle section, as 1 construction permit. The back, which is the gym and cafeteria, 2nd building permit. We dug footers July 17, 2017 on that front portion, front half. We started school August 2018. That is moving. That's coordination. That's a team effort. Without the gym and cafeteria became operational in December, once I came back from a winter break. But so that's when people talk about the cost of going and doing ICF. You save money by the manpower on it. It goes up a whole lot faster, and then you have 250 mile an hour wind resistance. That building's not going anywhere. And if you do the hollow metal plank, concrete planks between floors, that's an 8-inch plank versus an 18-inch steel structure. So that's less brick, less everything else I have to put on the outside, right? So you're saving money around the circumference of the building. This is our newest building that opened a year ago. Rich Pond Elementary School has a safe room in it. This is not your standard normal school. This is very intentional. I went to elementary school at the original building in 1952. We had hardwood floors in the classrooms. So how do you bring some of that nostalgia back and keep it in the building? Each one of our buildings now has a theme too. This one's Lego themed. So all the blocks in the terrazzo are Legos. 104,000 piece Lego set sits in the front entry on the original hardwood from 1952 out of my kindergarten classroom. That's the level of attention we take with our students in mind. This is a safe room. If you look at the steel beams up on top, if you go to a normal gym, 4 to 6 foot on center, these are 2 foot on center. I got 6 inches of concrete poured on the top of it. The rebar and the walls are 1 3/4 rebar. That room shouldn't go anywhere. It's also got Bathrooms tied into it, its own HVAC supply, its own water supply, its own gas supply. So what happens if a tornado comes through, wipes out the other part of the building or electrical system? This is FEMA rated for minimum of 2 hours. It should be able to last about 5. What's the cost of this building? Average in the state of Kentucky, when we built this building, was about $240 a square foot. This was pre-COVID, right? So this building was $221 a square foot. This building, 2 years later, bid in 2019, we bid it and came in at $205 a square foot. It has hardwood floors in every classroom. We had to recess the slab on every classroom 3 inches. We put the hardwood in during the middle of winter without any windows on the building. We had 2 pieces of plastic, so condensation didn't get in. That takes a team effort in doing all that. That's the library in Rich Pond Elementary School. Once again, 100% maple hardwood floors. It's just like a gymnasium floor. If you bounce on it, it'll give a little bit back. Teachers love it in their classrooms because guess what hurts less? Their ankles, their knees, and their back from standing up. All of our furniture is flexible seating. As much as we can put on casters, we put on casters. This is the gymnasium or cafeteria / partial gym. So that's a slide down from the library. Every one of our new buildings is 2-story. Once again, within the state, it looks at how big our building is, and we're running about 68% efficiency. So if the state says the building should be 100,000 square foot, we're getting it to about 68,000 square foot through the design. And that design makes up a huge impact on your EUI and your payback. Plus, it makes up the material that you're not wasting and spending money on. That's how we're driving down that cost. Cost per square foot is still $241 state average, $205. No, $211, I'm sorry, $211 on this one. But the cafeteria also doubles as a gymnasium. So what's next? This is that same elementary school. It's a rebuild of Rich Pond Elementary School, but we're moving to Hempwood in this building. I don't have to recess the floors 3 inches. It's 5/8 of an inch, and marries nice with the 3/8 of an inch inset of terrazzo. And those floors are down forever. We don't have to worry about them. This is hardy board on the outside, and this was the original elementary school in Warren County. So we're doing a throwback. This is a circa 1940s, 1950s design style from the outside. So we're trying to pay some homage to the original building within our district. The next one we're working on that should start construct, well, let me back up. So exact same as Rich Pond, right? Rich Pond was $211 a square foot. This one's $405 a square foot. Just 4 years later. Almost all the same contractors and competitive bid. It's just nature of the beast at this point with bidding. But we're 2 other elementaries bid this year in the state of Kentucky, both of them $30 and $35 more square foot than this building. This is the next one. It's 175,000 square foot innovation and leadership and innovation center for 7th through 12th graders. This will be a Leader in Me model school for the world. They're one of our co-sponsors for this building. So we can do all this cool stuff. And this one, I'm thinking we're going to come in under $400 a square foot because we're going to get some economies of scale based on its size and the amount of interest we're getting off of this. We got partners such as Logitech, Bing, AI, a number of different groups who see the vision in this. And this is how we get our kids to project-based learning. And this is a district school. How can we put pressure on our other 4 high schools to think a little bit differently about the education model? So we're bringing community members in through their businesses. So if we teach civil engineering in this building, we'll have a civil engineer from the trade come in and teach a project lead class, 1 block a week. So they're getting that immersion, they're getting that relationship piece, because we do a really good job of exposing them in middle school. We do a really bad job of keeping them connected through high school. So if we want to keep them local, we're supposed to add 17,000 houses in the next 3 years in Warren County, which is huge. Then how do we keep them there? We get them with the relationships, we get them with businesses that want them, and they have those relationships so they can go out and talk to these men and women when they're hiring. Questions, comments?
How can I get a EUI number on my existing building so I can use that as a baseline and start to compare?
Should easily be able to work with your engineer. All we did is consumption. I've been taking consumption since 2011 in a Google Sheet, so my board knows it, my energy manager knows it, and tracking it. Usually that's how I pick up on if we have an issue in our building, is consumption data tracks. Fairly simple calculation.
Cool. Mr. McIntyre, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.